Okay, hello everybody, and it's actually exactly 3 p.m. Karibu sana for this conversation, this event called Love in the Time of Corona. We're going to give some more people time to join. So we're going to start exactly at 3:05. So as you join in, kindly check the chat for some information on how to also share the YouTube link with people who want to watch it on YouTube, people who have not yet registered. Okay, so it is exactly 3:05. And once again, I'd like to welcome all of you to this event. Thank you so much for registering and for joining Love in the Time of Corona. It's our pleasure to have you here as we discuss love and all things COVID-19 this afternoon. We are live on YouTube, and we have shared the link in the chat box on the side. Our page is Open Institute on YouTube. So you can just tune in there or share with other people who are not able to register on time so that they can watch the live stream on YouTube. So I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Esther Njagi. I am someone who is a creative and very passionate about creative and communications and everything artistic. So I work at the Open Institute, which is a non-profit organization. And the Open Institute's mission is to strengthen citizens, like to empower citizens to inspire development in their communities. And how we do this is by collaborating with governments and other organizations. And Ivy, my colleague, will share the website on the chat box below if you'd like to know more about the Open Institute and what we do and what we really are about. So before we begin, I'm going to share a few housekeeping rules. As you join into the meeting, please mute your microphone. This is just to prevent any distractions if you're not speaking. And then as we go along, if you have a question for any of the panelists, please use the icon. There's an icon that is for raising your hand. So just raise your hand and we will unmute you and you can speak. Or if you just have a question and you'd like to write it down instead, you can use the chat box to share your question. And you can actually address your question to any panelist you would like, or just leave it as a general question. So all questions will be answered during the question and answer session. And this will be at the end of every panel session. So again, this whole event is being recorded just for your information. And again, like I said, we are streaming live on YouTube. So just for you to know that we are going to be, your voice will be heard if you speak, and it will be recorded for all time. And then finally, we have a hashtag, Loving Corona. You can use the hashtag to share any insights on Twitter, on your social media handles. That's what we're going to be using for sharing everything today. So why love in the time of Corona? So I'd like to explain a bit about the event and what it's about. So since COVID-19 started, we've been restricted and isolated in different ways, and we've not really been able to be living life as normal the way we were used to living it. And so it got me thinking, how are relationships coping with all these restrictions and all this social distancing? And how are people staying connected? And for single people, how are they meeting other people? How are they socializing? And then for couples, how are they meeting? But now for the ones who live together, I figured for them it's easy because they see each other every day, they see each other all the time. But again, I asked myself, is it really as rosy as it seems? So that was the rationale behind this event, just a platform for us to share our experiences, to hear from other people, and to learn how to cope with the new normal that has been brought by COVID-19. So I'm looking forward to rich discussions and interactive session as we share what our experiences have been. And I'm joined by a wonderful panel of different people from different walks of life and from different perspectives who are going to be able to share their views from a married perspective, single, dating, and in between. Yeah, so allow me to invite my panelists to introduce themselves, tell us a bit about who they are, and yeah. So I'm going to start with the ladies, and I will start with Cynthia, followed by Wamboi, then Ruby. Cynthia, it's up to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. And it's such a pleasure, such an honor to be part and parcel of the Open Institute and speaking about all things relationships during COVID-19. My name is Cynthia Waboi Otieno, and I term myself as a woman that is passionate about all things God, all things love. I'm a relationship marriage coach, a woman-to-woman mentor. I'm also a published author. I believe that I am charged or I am here on earth motivated and inspired to build lasting relationships, to help couples build lasting relationships and women to achieve their full and their highest potential. I run an organization called Amit Network Trust, where we have couples clinics, couples boot camps, and women-to-women programs. And I'm truly, truly excited to be amongst you all. The panel is amazing. I can't wait to hear from them as well. So karibuni sana, and thank you, Esther, for having me here.
Thank you, Cynthia. Bowie, are you there?
Yes, I am here. Thank you, Shiro. Oh, Esther.
Okay, Shiro is also my name. It's fine.
Oh, okay, just checking. Yeah, I'm also glad to be here. My name is Waboy Bohua. I am a co-creator of marriages, meaning that I am a wedding and event planner with a company called Ariella Events, which I run. I am a mother to a 5-year-old girl, and I'm just a love of life, and I'm glad to be here.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ruby.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I hope you're all doing well and you're keeping warm even in this chilly afternoon. My name is Ruby Njonjo. I'm a content creator. I love writing. It's a gift that I enjoy sharing with the world. I also really love speaking to people, especially young guys. So I have a page called She Life Experiences. I'm also a marketer by profession. I'm working in a content creation firm / training. And yeah, I'm a wife and a mother of two, one 7-year-old boy and a 4-year-old girl. I'm so happy to be here. I'm excited. I'm fun loving. So I can't wait to hear the conversation on love and just, hear what the panelists and of course, even you guys who have joined us in the event have to say or contribute towards this conversation. Thank you so much, Esther, for having me.
Karibu sana, Ruby.
Auntie.
We'll go to Simon. And lastly, Lopez.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Simon. Happy to join this conversation. It's quite an interesting one. I love the topic. When invited to speak, I said, yes, I have to be part of this conversation. I wear different hats, but all aligned to the youth space. So I am in youth development. I work with different organizations. But today I'm representing You and I, which is an organization I founded with a friend of mine aimed at developing the next generation of leaders. So that's what I'm representing today, but here to learn and just engage with you all in this conversation. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, thank you for the invitation, Esther.
Karibu sana, Simon. And last but not least, Lopez.
Yes, thank you so much, Shiro. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. My name, as you've heard, is Lopez Toyambi Baelo. I'm a Kenyan and a Congolese, hence the names. And I'm a visionary and a pastor. And I'm the founder of Love Nest, which is a relationship event, whose core, the core of Love Nest is just to nurture relationships, where we just come and we just share our own different experiences about relationships, and we get to learn from each other, and we get to be able to network and be able to just flourish in that area. And our key place of focus is to encourage everyone to just guard their heart with all due diligence, because of course from it arises the issues of life. So yeah, that's Loveness for us, and I'm glad to be in this discussion, and I'm looking forward to learn and to share what I know. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lopez. I hope you can all see we have very powerful, experienced panelists, so you're in good hands. So before we begin the sessions, we have a short exercise for all of us to take part in. And I'm going to request you to take out your phone, and we are going to share a link on the chat that you will visit. We just want to do a short survey and 2 short surveys, and then now we will be able to begin the sessions. And to take us through this particular session is my colleague, Ivy, and I'll welcome her to come in and tell us what to do. Ivy?
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Ivy.
I'm fine. So I hope you've all logged into slido.com. It will ask you which event that you to enter the event code, enter #love19 as shown in the screen. And then we will participate in the first poll for singles, a scale of 1 to 5, how much of a priority is dating right now. So start casting your votes.
And if you have any problem with it, please raise your hand and then or write it in the chat so then we can see how to assist you. I can see nobody has voted. Is nobody single here? I'll be sharing the link on the chat in a short while.
So 5 people have participated. We are 26. We need more people to participate. Is anyone having any difficulties? You can raise your hand and you'll be assisted.
So I've shared the link on the chat for those who had not been able to access it and the code.
Six people.
Wow, like people don't want to date. Oh, wow. Those insights are very interesting. 56% say it's priority. It's wait, on a scale of 1 to 5. Do we mean priority 1 to 5 or on a scale of 1 to 5? You guys really don't want to date. That's sad. Okay, at least there's some tied at 3 and 4, which is not so bad. I hope I have not influenced the vote in any way.
So we'll wrap up in the next minute. So we can go to the next poll. Okay. So I'll activate the next poll, which you'll be able to participate in. Since COVID-19, how often do you see your significant other? These are for the ones who are in relationships or partnered, or what word you choose to call your cohabitation.
Okay, so they're seeing most people saying they haven't seen them in a while.
Okay, 1 more minute and then we'll wrap up the polling. Okay. Esther? I'll hand over the session back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Ivy. I think we've seen the general trend. Thank you for that. Okay, so someone told me COVID has not affected any relationships, but from what you guys are saying, I can see it's truly had an effect. And so this event was actually timely. So now I'll just go right into the main discussions of today. Thank you so much for taking part in the polls. And so we're just going to go right into the discussions with our lovely panelists. We're going to be discussing a few questions, which I will field to the whole panel, and some will be specific. And so for our participants, as you listen along, if you have any question, please feel free to share it on the chat. If you'd like to be anonymous, you can use Slido, the app we just used right now. It has a capability for you asking a question. And then at the end of the session, we will address all the questions and hand them over to the panel. So hi guys, are you ready, panelists, for very hard questions? So I'm going to start with one general question to all of you. And so what I want to know is, what is your relationship status? And has it changed since COVID-19? And what does it look like now after COVID? And once again, I'll start with you, Cynthia.
My relationship status is I am married and been married for 11 years. Has it changed? Yes, I'm still very married.
You'd have given me a heart attack, Cynthia. Okay, cool. So it's the same. Sawa. Then I'll call on you, Ruby. What is your relationship status before, now, before, yes, now? And how was it before
Okay.
and after? Yes.
Okay, so maybe let's start with the before, then we can get to the after. Yeah. Okay, so yes, I am married. This will be, December this year will be 5 years.
Wow.
Yes, and it is, before COVID, I was married. After COVID, I am still married. And it's very interesting to say that, you know, I've not changed my marriage status. I mean, I'm still married, but yes, there's a difference between before COVID and after COVID, and I'm sure we'll be having a conversation further about that. But I am happily married, and I thank God for my husband.
Wow, thank you. Married people are boring.
They're cool. What? They're so cool. What are you saying? What?
Wow. Okay, next I'll pick on Wambui. Wambui, what's your relationship status before and after COVID?
Before COVID, I had just gotten into a relationship, and then during COVID, in a relationship now, so in a dating relationship.
Okay, so you were right on time.
I missed the mark.
Yeah. Amazing. Yes. Okay, Simon, what's your relationship status before and after?
So I'll follow the cue from Cynthia and Ruby. So for me, I'm not married and I'm not worried. And I'll explain why I'm not worried later on in the discussion. But yeah, I'm also in a dating relationship.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, Lopez, you're the last one, last but not least.
Yeah.
Same question.
I like how it was, we said someone was just on time. Before COVID, I was single. Oh, yeah, before COVID, I was single. And after COVID, I am very single. Yes.
So it's safe to say COVID has not affected anyone's relationship status at this point. What it was before is still the same. Okay, sawa. So we'll go to the next. So I think this one is more specific. So what effect has COVID had on your relationship? Is it positive? Is it negative? You can just share both. If it has had any positive effect on your relationship, please share. If it has had a negative one, feel free to share as well. And I think we'll just go in the same order once again. I'll start with the married people and then go to the ones in a relationship. Sadly, Lopez, you will sit out on this question. So, Cynthia, what positive effect, if any, and what negative effect, if any, has COVID had on your relationship?
The positives that I can think of, and I'm thinking about President Uhuru made the announcement on March 13th. And that's when we all panicked, went and bought tissue paper, remember?
Yeah.
There was no tissue paper in the whole country because we all panicked. So you can imagine, as a family, we basically went into survival mode. So you can imagine, even as a couple, you know, we really had to have the really in-depth conversation. So the positive is we sat down and began to, you know, you're not sweating the small stuff. You're thinking about, what does the future look? Do we have enough tissue paper to last us 3 months? You know, that kind of conversation. And of course, we are laughing about it, but that's the conversations that couples, I mean, we had. Another positive is we decided to downsize and get rid of excess baggage in terms of anything that was very expensive for us in terms of our relationship. So we got rid of excess baggage. The other positive is we have 2 children, 2 amazing girls. It has been a bonding session for us and the girls, and being able to be creative. We've gone biking, we have done things that we probably would not have done because we have a busy schedule. Now that Dawn and I have time, we do a lot of things very intentionally together. The downside of COVID is the fact that there's a lot of anxiety. We are, especially the first 3 months on lockdown, when we were not even leaving the house. You know, there was a time when no one was out of the house. The cabin fever was overwhelming. And depending on your temperament, and my temperament is I'm the sunny sanguine, I'm the life of the party. And Dawn is more laid back, a very easygoing guy. I was going crazy. I was thinking different ways to paint the country, you know, to paint my house, to do different things. And we were driving each other crazy. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And so conflict comes out in a different way, in a new way. Missing family, missing a real contact, you know, a real hug from your real. That's really so difficult. You know, my children kept telling me, Mommy, you keep hugging us so much. You keep kissing on us. I mean, yes, because I miss body contact. Okay, not the other body contact. I mean, just human level kind of contact. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Me.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I actually miss hugs a lot, and I was not a hugger before, so I think that's what COVID has made me into. Now I'll be a hugger. Thank you, Cynthia. So I'll go to you, Ruby. Positive, negative effects of COVID.
I can relate with Cynthia so much. So let's start with the positives, yeah? So for sure, the interesting thing is, yes, we've been able to have very interesting and intense conversations. I feel like before, because of the hustle and bustle, you're leaving, you're going to work, you're coming back in the evening, you have a class in the evening. Sometimes we don't really get to have like those intimate conversations. Sometimes you kind of just go through the tides. But this season, what it has done for me is us guys have really now had to have interesting conversations. And we've brought out, you know, the fun parts about each other. We've begun to remember the things we used to do when you're young. You know, we've just had really cool conversations. And I can say that has really given me a good and positive vibe and impact in my relationship. We've also been able, as Cynthia said, we're also able to just sit down and say, based on this time and, you know, financially and what we can be able to do, what can we afford and what can't we afford? And if we cannot afford it, then let's just slash it as quickly as we can. We're also able to have a conversation around what else can we do to be able to generate a level of income so that, again, we don't find ourselves struggling. another interesting conversation that I enjoyed having in terms, and it was very positive on my relationship, even is the people around us, because now we're not able to see folks, we're not able to see, you know, friends and everything, but how can we intentionally be reaching out to family, even if we're not able to sit? And that was a big one for me, and especially for me because the kids, okay, it was exciting that mommy and daddy are home the first week, 2 weeks. Then I started becoming, why are we not going to hookahs? Why are we not going to shows? Why are we not going to play with our friends? And you could tell there was a level of strain. So being able to build, you know, maximizing on Zoom calls, and I know guys in this season, Zoom calls have been everywhere and sometimes they can be overwhelming. But let me tell you, just having a Zoom call with a family member, you know, getting to laugh and interact has also really just helped to bond even more, because sometimes we're also those people for, you know, family or friends, we talk for a short while, then you're like, oh, I'm in traffic, I can't pick up my call, I'm driving, I'll call you back, and then, you know, time gets by and you don't call. So it's positive that we've been able to bond a lot with the kids, and even for them, they've also been able to, you know, use the laptop. Hey, mommy is now letting me use the laptop, it's even cooler. So yes, it's been actually a very interesting and well-adjusting season. Let's talk about the negatives. Hey. So let me just paint for you guys a picture. So me, I'm not a morning person. I don't want to be talked to until 10 a.m.
Yeah.
So with my colleagues, we've built a nice rapport. You know, they know we'll do hi and then we'll nyamazia. Then at 10, we'll pick up the conversation. Now, my husband on the other side, even if you woke up at 4:30 in the morning, he is ready to start talking. And he will talk and talk. And you're like, goodness, boss, just ngoja kidogo. Oil haijapanda. I'm just trying to adjust to it morning. I've woken up.
Wow.
You are talking. Now you can imagine he's talking in the morning. Now the first, I think the first 2 months we're together throughout. So he's talking in the morning when I wake up every day. And then we know we are in each other's spaces. So yes, it kind of, you know, brings some conflict. And then now, as opposed to, you know, we can have the conversation later in the evening. If we need to discuss anything, we're discussing it now. So sometimes when, you know, when things are heated up, or sometimes when somebody is so much in your face, there's the opportunity of conflict to arise. So the first few weeks we were stepping on each other a little bit, because we're also not used to just being in the same space for, I mean, the 24 hours of each and every day. So that was an interesting adjustment. But in it also just really helped us to just, you know, be able to adjust and adopt. And even the kids, like now we were wondering, you know, homeschooling, who's doing homeschooling, who's working from the laptop, so a lot of things were all over the place. But now we kind of find the rhythm. But I can tell you, for me, that thing for talking in the morning is still something that really me, I've still not adjusted. But yes, so what we do is now we are kind of, you know, saying, you know, can we talk at, okay, let's then we can compromise. Like, can you start at 8:30, 8:45 Apple? Yes, but yeah, so that would be the thing that I would find to be, you know, it kind of brought a lot of conflict, because we are in each other's faces all the time, and sometimes even how we handle issues is different. So for him, he likes to internalize, me, I want to work on it sahi. So that was an interesting thing to kind of look through.
Yeah. So you're kind of learning how to interact even more, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing, Ruby. Next, I'll go to Wamboi. Hey, Wamboi, are you there?
Yes, I am here. It's
Okay.
interesting to hear the stories of the married people. And I'm like,
can you relate or can't you relate?
I cannot relate at all, man. Not at all. It's been interesting. It's been a good season as well. So I'll talk about the positives first, because so every Wednesday Simon and I had a weekly date. So every Wednesday.
Wait, I think everyone needs to know that you and Simon are actually a couple. Hey, Simon.
Yes.
Right. Okay, Wamboi, go ahead.
So he and I used to do dates every Wednesday, and of course now we shut down of restaurants and places to meet, so that was completely down. Another thing was even that hug, you know, that hug that you always want, but you can't really get at that moment, because we don't know where or who we interacted with who, or who's contacted from where. So there's a lot of uncertainty that. And you don't want to risk even bring it back to your family at home. So that one has been very interesting. But it's given us a chance to intentionally have conversations. Like if we're not meeting, we'd have a video call and meet, find creative ways of bonding and having different conversations. So even if it's doing books together, or if it's watching, doing a watch party on Netflix, and just things out of the ordinary. But also
Yeah.
once in a while, once things have also slowed down, rather we've known the risk and we are aware of now what to do or what not to do. We're able to now do, like, it's a bike ride. So that we went to Karura, we did a bike ride, or going to now walk or Lua. So such things have been fun for us to do.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I've known that I am not fit in riding a bicycle for long distances, and yet he
You have
is.
learned more
I'm
about
like, my
yourself.
goodness. Yes, yes, I have.
Awesome, amazing.
So he
So I
can
wanted,
add whatever I've not what I've
yeah,
not.
exactly. I was like, does he have different things to say, or is it the same thing? So Simon,
All right, great. So yeah, I guess now we know that, yeah, Mambo is the reason I'm not worried, as I mentioned earlier. Yes, I'm excited to see how even in blue. Blue is my favorite color, so seeing there are two things I love in one place is exciting.
oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah, I'm looking for a bonga point.
Clearly, before you say the negative effect, I see.
Anyway, so it's quite interesting because I asked her out just a week before the curfews and the lockdown. So I think God was saying, young man, you better step up before
Yeah.
before this effect of corona. It was quite interesting because immediately now we could not see each other openly and all that. So we had to now, the initial part of our now dating relationship had to start with online tools and all that, now adjusting to virtual calls as opposed to constantly meeting. So that was quite interesting because now it allowed us to now get a chance to know each other more in terms of communicating through like calls, getting to know each other in terms of personalities, characters, based on now more conversations. The beauty was that we knew each other as friends before that, so at least we already had connected as friends. So it was easier now to bear with the situation because now, as she said, we could not risk even if we were living with. We could not risk meeting in public in terms of the directions given by the governments and all that. So it was just a good platform to be able to get to know each other a bit better by conversations on phone and calls, doing challenges like getting to ask. We did like a 30-day challenge, which is different questions we get to post on WhatsApp to each other and get to ask each other questions.
Wow.
Just to ensure that we are actively getting to know each other because now we just started a dating relationship, but we could not actively meet to now get to know each other better. So we decided that we'll actually intentionally work with the online tools just to build on the relationship. Of course, the negative is the fact that now you're not able to meet as often as possible. So there's always that feel that, yeah, when can we meet and all that. There's also the effect of now, because I think as from the description of this event, human relationship is always where you meet, where you connect, where you laugh together. So they don't do too much online. So yeah, that's the negative effect.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Asanteni sana. And Lopez, now I'll ask you if have you met any new people since COVID started? I know you mentioned that your status is the same.
Yeah, I wish I was sensitive and alert like Simon. But unfortunately, no. But it's been an interesting time. All these, how many months has it been? Has it been, I think, 6? Huh?
From March, April, May, June,
Yeah,
July, 5 months.
5 months. The interesting thing is that, I was busy at work. And when you're busy at work, you're focusing. And men know how to just focus on one thing. When you're busy with work, you're busy with work. And
Yeah.
and that can take up your time. But now literally everything was just shut down. All the business relaxed and all of that. Then now literally start focusing on yourself. And you
Yeah.
start realizing there are several things that I started realizing there's several things I needed to work on. And definitely I've had several meetups. There have been a lot of meetups online, Zoom parties, where people just meet to do games. But this season, there have been a lot of games. So in that, I've been able to meet new people, where a friend of mine just says, hey, we're having a game. You can come in. And out of that, and because now I'm free, I'm available this time. So because of that length of time, yes, you're still working from home, but because now you have the extra time to be able to do other things, now I was able to now be able to socialize, and let's say gather new friends and be able to know other people,
and see some potential ladies. Thank you, Lopez. And even as you mentioned work, I was also wondering, how has it been working from home with family demands, especially for those who have family at home, like kids, a husband, and how has it been for you, Ruby, working from home with family demands at the same time?
Thanks, Shiro. So, to be very honest, when we started out, so, the March 19th, that season, so in terms of work, it was very intense for me, because as a company, we were now transitioning to whatever. So I work for a company where we train people and we create content. So now we were moving from training people in a physical class to training guys online, and it was bam, bam, bam. And we had a season, I think 5 classes that were going on, and our classes are, every week you attend a class. So for that first 2-3 weeks, it was really intense, because we're all trying to put our heads together and come to an understanding of how we're going to do it. We're doing research on Zoom, we are transitioning, clients are calling. So that was a bit of an intense season. And I remember for those days, days would run from like 7 a.m. to even 9 p.m. Guys are calling, we're trying to adjust, we're trying to strategize. We are all familiarizing ourselves with Zoom and everything. So it was very intense in terms of. Now at home, it's the same thing. Your children are like, mommy is here. Before you're outside there, now you're here. And even for them, they don't have school. So also they were at the point where now they have questions. Why are we not going to school? What is happening? Mommy is here. Why are you not spending time with us? So it was intense. I can tell you for sure, for me, Shiro, the first week, I was losing my mind. Like, it was so intense. And of course, there was still the anxiety of, now COVID is with us. What does that mean for us in terms of health? How are we protecting ourselves? What does it mean? So it was really, really intense. And I remember, I think after 2 weeks at work, we had a session where we brought a counselor to just come and talk to us. And man, we were all blowing off steam. And to be honest, Shiro, I didn't think I'd come to this day where I would be able to balance. And then at the same time, school is calling and saying, hey, so how can we interact with the child? And you're like, guys, I'm just one person. And there are so many things. So the first few weeks were very, very intense. But now, and I'm very grateful, for me, Will he's very hands-on. He's like, what, how can I help? How can I help? And so he was able to pull at least the weight of the kids, trying to explain, trying to just help them to relax and, interacting with them to the best of his ability, so that I was able to just focus on adjusting to work fast. Now I'm happy to say that, I've gotten a rhythm. It works really well. In fact, now I'm like, I don't mind working from home. In fact, I could be in this space forever and I'd just be fine. Okay, of course, once in a while I'd want to step out, but I'm happy because I've gotten a rhythm. And something else that really helped was having a partner who is willing and able to help, and just, you guys gel your things together and it works. Maze, it counts for everything. Because I can tell you for sure, we've picked up baking as something to help the kids to learn a new skill and for them to adjust. And Yani, when you find us, all of us, even Will is so hands-on. He's like, me, I'll mix, you do this, I do this, you do this. And I remember when we started, we didn't have a hand mixer, so tulikuwa tunafanya ile mkono ya kuzungusha. So I would do my part and I'll be like, Aki babe, hey, me nimeshindwa, now it's your turn. And imagine that small task, and then the kids would, pour the ingredients and everything, just would calm us down. So for me, when things would heighten and I'd feel like, man, I'm about to lose it, I'd be like, guys, we're baking a cake. We all go to the kitchen, now we all bring our energies. And in the next 1 hour, it's all of us are calmed down. The kids are happy because they've interacted. Will he's so hands-on. So for me, I'm the guy for baking and I'm the chick for baking and doing everything. Then when I see the dishes, I start feeling a certain type of way. But thank God, because he's the person for dishes any day, anytime, as long as you cook. So God has just really favored us and enabled us to really adjust well. So I'm happy to say now I can work from home. But if you had asked me in March, I'd have been like, this won't work. It's not possible. I don't know how we can do it. But yes, now we've gotten a rhythm. Yeah, it was so new and there was so much anxiety and uncertainty, if I can say that.
Right. Okay, thank you so much. And I'll ask the same question to Cynthia. How has it been for you balancing work, home, family?
All right. I think the balance is, it has been an interesting balance, especially because there was no manual that prepared us for a pandemic. There was nothing that would say that in June or March 2020, this is what to expect as a parent, and read chapter 1, verse 2b, and know that this is what to expect in a relationship. So we really had to stumble upon and make a lot of mistakes. And initially we were on each other's tails, the kids, myself. I would find that the kids would follow me everywhere I would go. And when you're living in an estate, there's really not much room to follow me. Seriously, you will follow me everywhere. And I've got an 8 and a 9-year-old, so we would all move together like goats. Because they were afraid. And I realized the children needed to be prepared for what a pandemic looks like. My daughter then started having she started making her own news segment about COVID-19. So we began to celebrate that. She has something called Michaela News, which she always talks about, sanitizing. 6 months later, I'm hearing about wash your hands. But that's her own way of debriefing and dealing with her own anxiety, because she's a really quiet child. And the other one is, she loves sports. And so the dad has spent a lot of time with sports. We go to Karura, we do fun things together as a family. Then this crazy idea happened on social media. Everybody started doing a kitchen garden. And of course, Cynthia was there. Kitchen garden is for who? We all did the kitchen garden. It was infested by animals. What do you call those things? Pesticides. And guess what? We go to the garden, all of us, and pray for it. Say that, it has to resurrect again. It didn't. It died. And as a family, we are learning and coping together. And let me tell you something. In the midst of all that is we have had to learn each other afresh. We've had to be patient with each other. And what happens in shared spaces, we have to take turns. Like now I'm on Zoom. I'm at home. I'm on Zoom right now. So my kids and my husband have to clear off for the next couple of hours, and they have to find ways to actually adjust to that. And at the same time, when I finish this, I have to create time for the family. So we learned that, could we pace ourselves out? Could we adjust time and actually in compartments of time for everyone, that you don't feel that mommy's not available because she's at home, but she's, and kids, it's different. When you're at home, you're theirs, you belong to them.
Yeah.
So, and same to husband or the relationship, is that they think that you're available, ready for cooking an exciting meal, doing exciting things. But now you have to manage and learn to time you manage your time well. And that has been an adjustment for all of us, including the house manager. Imagine the house manager herself, because that's a relationship that we are also managing. You find that, okay, we are now available in the house. She's used to having the house to herself. And now we are here 24/7. So that's another relationship that you've also going to manage very well. And it becomes a very exciting episode for everybody.
Wow. Thank you. I just love how all of you are adjusting so well to everything. I know it didn't take, like, it was not instant, but it's taken some time. Yeah, for sure. So I think the next question, you guys have answered it all. Like, what activities are you doing to keep your relationships alive? Everyone has said what they're doing. And so for Lopez, he's meeting new people online. And yeah, so that brings us to the end of sharing of our experiences. And now I'll just open the floor to questions. If anyone has a question, please feel free to raise your hand and we'll allow you to ask your question, or you can paste it on the chat below, and our panelists will be happy to answer those questions. But even as they ask, mimi niko na swali. As a single person, me, I'm scared of meeting new people. I don't want to get coronavirus. What happens to me? What should I, like, what are some of the ways, like, how are single people supposed to socialize in this corona period? Just from your ideas, from your thoughts, because going to restaurants for me, I don't know. Online dating, I don't know. Is there hope for someone like me? Yeah. Cynthia, do you want to take that one?
I think first, one of the things that we've got to contend with is that we are currently under fear. There's a lot of. So we basically need to deal with our fears. What is a fear? Is it fear of getting the virus? Is it fear that this person, what is your fear? And then what? So you need to actually be very clear. What is your greatest fear, and for how long do you plan to keep away from the dating circle? Because you can see our numbers are not getting any better, and it's been so does it mean that you will give yourself a year break? Or are you going to open up your mind and actually say, if we have been in 5 months been able to create business opportunities, and for those of us people, did you even know that you can actually grow your business online? I have been so fantabulously shocked that my business can grow. So in the same way, Esther is going to open up her mind and say, is it possible that during COVID-19, a man is sitting somewhere in Spain, waiting, and he has been waiting for a Zoom conversation with you, and you just have to, to open up,
Wow.
And what does that look like, for a young woman who's pretty conservative about online dating and making up your mind, how will I do that? I have found that the power of relationships, the power of relationships. Let me tell you something. I have found that people from all over the world can get in touch with you through social media.
Yeah.
And if that can happen, then I totally believe that the world has become one global village. And I also believe in the power of friendships. Your friends know a friend that knows a friend that is single. Does that ring a bell? Your friend's friend knows, here is Lopez sitting at home, very much single, or and sorry for pinpointing you, Lopez. I'm just giving an example. So what does, if I'm a friend of Lopez and I know our Jico somewhere and I know Lopez is a good guy, I think this is an opportunity for people to get to meet. And opening ourselves up for the opportunity that God has a plan. And could it be that this is the amazing plan for the amazing grace to actually take place through social media?
Hallelujah.
So with that shift, it's important to make the mind shift now, because I don't think we're going to go back to business as usual. Or the way it used to be. The way there was a song, the way things used to be, I don't know what. It can't be the way things used to be. Our businesses have shifted. Our churches have shifted. Our mosques have shifted. Guess what? Relationships need to shift.
That's actually a word in itself. Yeah, I agree with you. I think I need to open my mind. I hope I speak for all the other close-minded singles in the room. Let's open our minds, explore, try new things. Yeah, Wambui.
I have a friend of mine, actually two of them, not even two, three of them. They've joined online dating platforms called Bumble, and some have even gone on virtual dates. So those are spaces now people are opening up to experience new things, and not just the Kenyans, but also people from out of Kenya, like the way Cynthia has just mentioned. Yeah, so that is a platform you can join.
I will see you after this one, boy. So we have one question that has come in, and it's still tied to online. So someone is asking, how do you spice up online conversations? Yeah, how do you spice up online conversations? Ruby, do you have any thoughts?
Actually, it's interesting. I was actually just trying to think about it, but how my take would be in such a conversation, because now I'm going to assume that when we are saying how do we spice up online conversations, we are not like together physically, yeah? So I would say, remember the way when you start dating, and there's a lot of excitement, and you're always sending each other WhatsApps or texts, or depending on the type of personalities you have, you're calling each other very often. So I would say that this is the season now to bring all that excitement into the online space. And I think I really liked what, I think it was Simon who mentioned that him and Wambui have been doing a 30-day challenge, I think, to ask questions. And I'm like, yes, this is the time to now think about what are creative ways that you can use to know each other or to have more conversations with each other. And I mean, I would say there's what Simon and Wambui are doing, which I found very interesting and I want to hear more about. And then you could do things like, there's now Scrabble. You can play Scrabble together online. Maybe you guys find, playing Scrabble is fun, or different other games. You can now go online and download apps that are similar and play together. And then I also think you can think about things like treasure hunts, but now in an online space. And I know it could be a bit complicated, but begin to open up your mind to, you could create a sort of treasure hunt, and maybe it would be to even find out how well do you know me as your girlfriend or boyfriend,
Yeah,
or
like
the
what's their
relationship that you're
doing.
in. Yeah, and quizzes, and you're like, I'm going to ask you a few questions and let's see how well you know, just things that are going to make you guys to get a bit closer. And the beauty about online conversations now is they can be video, they can be audio, they can be written. So there's a lot of room to just play around and come up with creative ways. Yeah.
Amazing. Lopez, I think I saw your hand up. You'd like to say something to add to it?
Yeah, I would just like to add to what Ruby has said, and it's especially when and I've done it when it comes to meeting someone and talking to someone whom you don't know. It's really to be able now, as that person is asking, to break the ice so that now the question is not weird on you're directly asking the question, but having a game, or there are interesting ways of being able to ask a question. So, and if you go online and search for games to help you to know each other, there are so many games that out of that game you may be able to know that person, but in a very interesting way. And this can be done over Zoom, and I just send a link to the other person, and I just have an interesting, and time flies. So that is better than having the awkwardness of, hey, how are you? So who are you? Tell me. It's that one is more a bit scary even for someone to really open up. And out of that game, you may be able to even discover more, and conversations now will just bring itself more naturally rather than being forced out.
Okay, yeah, for sure. And even as we go along, we're seeing people who are asking how to start up conversations online without looking thirsty or raunchy as a woman. Like women, we always feel like, no, the guy should start. I don't want to look like I'm shooting my shot, all those things. Like, I guess from the perspective of a man, do you guys really find women being thirsty if they start up a conversation, or what do you consider as thirsty, or as she's too forward? Or I guess I'll ask a man this question. Simon, what do you consider, like, are women overthinking it? Yeah.
All right, can I just quickly contribute to the previous question? I just wanted to add something and then respond to this one. I will say, yes, interesting. Ruby has mentioned quite interesting ways we can continue having conversations online. And I think, Shiro, you talked about once we connect on Zoom, what next? I think even like things like Netflix have provided ways you can have a watch party, so you can still watch a movie together, comment on that about that movie. So there's ways you can still do things people do when they're dating, but now using the virtual platforms. I think one of the things we discovered with Wambui was one of the things for our highest is quality time and touch as a love language. Those who know those 5 love languages. So you can imagine now that it's online, those 2 are mostly affected because now you can't spend as much time together. So now we had to now be creative around how do we keep the relationship going? How do we ensure that we can still build on each other and get to learn each other better? So I think being intentional as well comes very handy in this process, because even as you try out, you need to have like that mindset where you're saying, okay, even if I'm trying out this dating space, I need to understand myself better. So because I think once you have you're self-aware, then you can be able to be clear about what you want. And that's builds now to the second question, where if you're self-aware, if you know why you are initiating a conversation with a guy, are you doing that just for the fun of it, or are you actually genuinely want to know this person? So I feel that it's not, as long as you are clear about the motives of why you want to have a conversation with a guy and how the approach you use, then I feel it should be okay to initiate conversations, as long as you're clear about the intentions of it. Of course, men should be able to lead in that space in terms of being intentional in asking the person out and being able to drive the conversation. So I will say, yes, the men have to play a bigger role in that part, but for conversation, getting to know each other, as long as you're clear with the motives, then anyone can begin the conversations.
Simon, what do you mean clear on the motives? I just said, hi, Simon. I was looking at your Instagram. I really like your profile.
So profile picture or profile?
Your profile picture. You can see how I'm not even good at this. But yeah, like what constitutes a woman looking like she's too forward? If someone just says, hi, Simon, I like your profile, like your Instagram page, or I liked the talk you gave on this and this day. Can we go for coffee? Is that forward?
Of course, I'll appreciate the compliment, of course, and say thank you for that compliment. But I'll also need to ask questions of what exactly why are we doing that?
Because I want to get to know Simon better. That's why.
With my current status, I would say probably it will be hard.
Not with your current status, but maybe I think what the woman is trying to figure out is, how do I do this? Like, it's tricky. It's tricky, I think, for women to initiate conversation without coming off as, I don't know. Yes, thirsty, as the person asked, thirsty as a woman. So I think I'll let you off the hook, Simon. That one I don't know if you can answer that one for now. I think Lopez, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I do, and I really like to pick up from where there's something that Cindy mentioned that is really important when it comes to mindset and change of mindset. And the times have changed also. There are times where, of course, men or even a lady will like a guy, but she will keep quiet and wait for the guy to make the approach. And the reasons are valid, are there. But with the change of time and the season, ladies have become very intentional, focus-driven. There are women who are visionaries and they know exactly what they want. And let me even make it a bit personal. If someone comes, if a lady comes to me in that way, I wouldn't judge it in the negative way and look at it like nasty or anything. But he's now saying, oh, okay, this is good. But honestly, men also, some of us men fear approaching women. We may have a feeling for you, but we are, when we look at you, you look driven, self-driven, and we are like, oh, even if and we fear rejection. Some of us men just fear rejection, and we fear if we come to you, you will tell us no. So the moment you say, hey, can we go for coffee? I'll be like, yeah, thank you for saying it for me. You're getting. So it's sharing, and I've had instances where that has happened. And I like what Simon has said. Yes, the lady may make the first approach and say, can we have coffee? But now from there on, the guy now has to lead. That's after the coffee, the guy now has to come and say, hey, can we go for coffee next time? Because the lady may do it the first time, but she can't keep on doing and initiating it every time. So as a man, you have to take the initiative from there. But I don't see a problem with them initiating.
Okay. Okay. Cynthia, you have something to say?
Yes, I really like what Lopez has said. And to be totally honest, I think one of the things that would be very attractive is authenticity. Is if you are authentically you, and go for it, and you're being genuine, you're being real, there's nothing an underlying fakeness in you, and you just walk up to the guy, or even you send him an inbox. Oh, by the way, I really, where were you? This picture looks like you were in Mombasa. Is it South Beach or North Beach, or whatever it is? You're genuine. You basically are asking a real question. There's nothing wrong with that. If he does not respond, well and good, it is his loss. You understand? However, let me give you a very personal example. That's how I met my husband. I walked up to him 11 years ago, and he had finished leading a worship experience, and I said, hey, my name is Cynthia. And he looked at me and he said hi, and he continued on with his conversation. And I thought, how rude, but you know what? I said hi. 2 years later, we ended up meeting, but he remembers this forthright woman who walked up to him and said hi, but it intrigued him. So for what Lopez said is that there's some guys who will not appreciate you coming upright to you. Some will, but at the end of the day, is that you're genuine, you're authentic, you're not doing it in a manner that is disrespectful or disrespecting yourself. You're genuinely saying hi. That was a great experience, or that was a great picture on Facebook.
Yeah. True. We need to open our minds as women.
Yeah, Shiro,
Yes.
I'd like to contribute to that conversation. So I think, okay, I am the type of people who are forward. And to be honest, I don't think there's anything wrong with just saying, hi, my name is Ruby. I have an issue if you go to somebody's Instagram and then you just say, hi, then you run off. No,
Okay,
yeah. Like, what are you saying? Like, you must be, if you're a confident woman and you've brought yourself to this space, you must start the conversation with a punch. But what I'm saying is, I don't say anything wrong with saying, as Cynthia has said, hi, how are you? I really like this photo. It looks like it was in Mombasa, and I'm just curious to find out, what type of an experience was it? Were you skydiving? Oh my goodness, I've always wanted to do that. But just don't say hi. That hi part, even me, I'm like, that's just creepy. But if you're authentic, as Cynthia has said, and you're just being honest, and you want to say hi, Shiro, I believe you shoot your shot, because you have that one chance. And if he says no, imagine it's his loss for real. It's
it's not the end of the world.
And I think, with the times and the way things have changed, I wouldn't, if I was to go back into being single, I wouldn't just sit there and just wait until the day the guy comes and sees me and approaches me. You shoot your shot. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you're like, it would be. You tried, girl. You put in your best foot forward. Maybe he's not the right guy, and it's okay.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Okay, I think, let me ask the next question. I'll put them all together because they have to do with online dating. And so someone asks, would you encourage the use of sites like Badoo and Tinder for meeting new people? And in line with that, men on Bumble, they have stale vibes and only swipe right to see if they will be liked back. When you say hi, you get crickets online. Online dating in Kenya sucks. I don't know. I haven't had much experience with online dating, so I don't know who has in our panel who'd like to add to this. And again, someone asks us again in line with that, how do you learn each other after meeting online? So this is just about online dating. And I just want to pick on Wamboi because she mentioned some online site. And Wamboi, would you like to take this question and just give us your insight?
Well, I'm not an expert in that area of online dating.
Yeah.
Of course, if they're good people who are genuine, who want to find relationships in those spaces, but they're also those people who just want to smash and run, and where they go in for the wrong intentions and they don't, and then they leave or they stay for the wrong intentions. So it's the same thing outside here. If you're dating someone and you meet on the streets or whatever space that you meet them, there's some who genuinely want to get to know you, and the ones who just want to do what they want to do and bounce. Yeah. But I think if you know yourself, and you can always tell where through conversation, the direction people are going in. If they are very suggestive and very pushy on some topics, you just know, okay, this is the type of person this person is. So let me just keep off and let me just look for someone else or a different space to do that. Yeah.
Okay, sure. So I think we'll just take one more question because of time. And this one is from, I don't know, it's anonymous. What if I am craving physical touch? So what is that person's question? Who will I give this question? Simon, are you ready to answer this one? Especially given that you guys have had to do away with it as much, not as much, because now you don't meet physically.
All right, sure, I can give it a try. So definitely, I think one is good to acknowledge that we are human. So of course we'll have that craving. We're also young people in terms of age as well. So it's the physical desires are at their peak. So I think one of the things we have done for me and Wamboi has been to talk about what it means for us to walk in purity when it comes to relationship. So when we define what is off the table, no matter whether we are doing it online, physical dating, then it's clear what is off the table. So I think what I would advise is being very clear or intentional about what it means, even when now the temptation comes in, because I think ensuring that your communication is very clear allows you to be able to say, okay, this is how I'm feeling. What does that mean in that particular period? So I think there's no right answer for how you can deal with the craving, but I think it's an individual decision where you say, okay, if I'm feeling this kind of emotions at this point, what do I do? Do I distract myself by either doing something different? If I was online watching a certain kind of movie that brought those kind of feelings of craving for physical touch, then can I change that and do something different? So I think as an individual, you have to see what are the triggers, what triggers you to such kind of thinking, so that now if you have people accountable to you, if it's your friends, if it's the person you're dating, then you're able to communicate and say, okay, I'm feeling this kind of way, how can I avoid it? Yeah. So I think those are some of the things we've done personally in terms of our relationship.
Yep. Okay, thank you so much, Simon, and thank you everyone for your questions. I'm sorry we were not able to handle all of them, but after the next session, if we still have time, we'll be able to go back to those questions. And so now, yes, sorry?
Esther, can I add something to what Simon has said? Is that okay?
Yes, and Cynthia, add something, and then as you come in for your session, which is the next session. So sure thing, go ahead.
All right. I just want the person who's craving physical touch, and my love language is physical touch. So I feel you, Nina Kubeba. I feel you. I understand. It's cold. It's July. Let me tell you, the weather is not helping the coldness. So the reality is face it head on, in the sense that acknowledge that this is your reality. Acknowledge it. Do not try and sweep it under the carpet. Acknowledge it. And the beauty is that you're normal. You actually are normal. This is part of your normal functional bodily functions, is that you feel a certain way. I feel like having ice cream, but is it every day that I will have ice cream? Is it if I'm craving to go bungee jumping, and right now I cannot do bungee jump? Does it mean that I do it? Or does it mean that I'm going to actually find myself and create the boundaries that will help me deal with my fear, my emotions, deal with the fact that during this time and the confines that I've created for myself, that bungee jumping is not going to work for me. Physical contact, I'm going to put a list down, and this is what I will tell you, whoever asks this question. Go ahead and take a piece of paper. What are the pros and cons? Am I going to allow a 5-minute touch, all right, or 5-minute wonder to risk my life, risk my people, my children, my everything, You know, we have seen what the numbers are like. I just looked at Mutahi Kagwe's Nini. It's okay, now it has become Mutahi Kagwe's numbers. 457 now. And yesterday was another 400. Are we going to allow that the physical contact that you're craving, which will be 5 minutes, sometimes it can even be 3 minutes, and you are actually going to risk your whole entire life because of a 3-minute hug or whatever it is that involves physical contact? So you need to write your pros and cons and say, okay, this is my reality. This is how I'm feeling right now. I thank God that I'm feeling normal. I'm glad that my body is still functioning. Even in the midst of the COVID-19, everything seems to be working. But for now, it's not possible. For what are the things that I need to do that will help me either deal with my new reality? Is it that I need to, am I more idle? That makes me now think about physical contact.
Leo katika vitapita zangu ndani ya kona za Tanzania.
We need to mute that, sorry. And then, you know, that's what we need to do. And I hope that in due course, you know, things will get better. You will get the hug that you're looking for from your mother and from your, you know, get a puppy, get something that you can just hold on to. And I'm not trying to be funny or anything, is that sometimes we just need to love on something else in the meanwhile. All right. So now, Esther has said, I go right into my segment and I'm not, oh, my computer is showing battery low. Esther,
Yeah,
you...
yes, I'm here.
All right.
I'm
me
here.
Get my charger.
No problem.
1 second.
No problem. I think as Cynthia does that, maybe as she comes in, what she's going to tackle is, so how are we now to navigate the new normal in our relationships? And as she comes, I think we can just do one more question. And it's hard to choose. They're all really good. So one person is asking, how do you know a woman likes or is interested in you? Wow, okay. Ruby, how do you let people know that you're interested in them? Maybe that will answer the question.
Wow, Esther, you've chosen me.
I know, right?
Anyway, okay, so how?
Go back in time
just
when
ask,
you were still single.
ask again so that I can remember.
Okay. Sorry. How do you know a woman likes or is interested in you?
Okay, wow. Hey, that's a tough one. But okay, I would say, let me, I'm trying to now remember how do you know that a woman likes you? Wow. Okay. I think she like when you hang out with her, okay, now we're not hanging out, but even when you're talking to her, maybe having a phone conversation, you can feel she has a level of excitement. And then when you realize that, how do I explain? As in when there's just like a level of excitement, like if it's somebody that you've known for a while, you can tell that when she's with you or when she's around you, when she's talking to you, she has a level of excitement. And I think that she follows up with you, like she's into your vibes. So she'll find out how you are, she'll check up on you. And now this is an interesting one, and I don't know how to explain it, so I don't even know how you would know, but also that she like pace herself. Like, you see, if you realize that, you know, have you ever realized one of those things? And I remember in those days, I don't know, I'm old, so maybe Nikki Tambo, but I remember when we used to text, you don't text all the time, you're not always readily available to respond all the time. Like sometimes you read a question like at 2 and you're like, pace yourself, like you don't want to be readily available. Like, I don't feel like that is something that would help you to know that someone is into you. They just don't want to look like, you know. And I remember when I used to date a while back, and it's those things for, you're trying to balance, you don't want to look like you're the one who's really inside with all your shoes and your boots and your heels, and the other person is, you know, somewhere in there. So Shiro, I don't know if I've answered this question. I'm just trying to work with past experiences, but I don't know, I hope you have helped in a certain level. Yeah.
Awesome. Esther, we can't hear you.
Sorry, guys, I was on has some clarity. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. I have a feeling that this question should be answered by a guy as well, because now they're the ones who get to know if if a woman likes them? I mean, how do you know, Lopez, how do you know someone likes you or is interested in you?
Um, honestly, and this is what Ruby has said. People, the best people to hide things are ladies. Men, we don't know how to hide things. We don't know how to hide feelings. We'll be nice with you and all that, but a lady can be rude at you, but they like you. Serious. A lady can ignore you, they can snob you, but they really like you. So, if you want to try and understand ladies, men, all the best.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Maybe if you take the only way, this is what I'll say, the only way to know that if a lady likes you, you have to take the initiative. You can.
Oh, so you ask her. You ask her, "Hi, Shiro, do you like me?"
No,
Oh.
no. Take the initiative. Take her for coffee or date. And I like what Ruby has said. Of course, if there is willingness for her to from her to come to the dates, and she's not looking at her watch every time when you're having coffee, and she's in the conversations, and when you talk to her, she wants to respond back. If there's mutual response, then you can start telling that she likes you, and that is after you have taken the initiative and this conversation going. But before that, it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell from afar. Yeah, that's what I'll say with my little understanding on that. I hope the ladies can agree.
Okay, I'm curious about how Wambui and Simon knew like each other, liked each other. I don't know if you guys can, Wambui, if you can just take like 1 minute before Cynthia comes in. How did you let Simon know that you liked him or you were interested in him?
I just told him.
Oh,
I like
wow.
I just told him.
I
I'm
like that.
there's no
I
beating around
really
the-
like that one, boy. Awesome.
I was like, I don't have time to figure things out or just be patient or wait. I'm like, I have a daughter. I need to protect myself. I need to protect her before I let anyone in. So I'm like, we need to be on the same page. If we are feeling each other, let's move on. If we are not, it's good.
Wow. And so did you say it first or did he first tell you? I mean, how did it happen?
Maybe how did it happen? I mean, I don't know. I just remember that part.
I just remember saying, I like you. Let's do this.
Like, you can add on.
Yeah. Okay, wow. So ladies, just tell them that you like them as Wambui has. Yes.
I would like to read a comment here from Kiriko, and I think it's exactly what Wambui has said. She says, I think it also depends on age. Most times, if the lady is in her 30s, she will probably be clear in word and deed that she likes you. Spot on. If it's someone in their 20s, it may be a puzzle. So, and she's just said, and Wambui is exhibit A, and I agree. I think when you're a woman in your 30s vis-a-vis your 20s, it's so different.
You have less time, eh?
And you've known yourself to the point where you know exactly what you want and you're ready to just say it.
Yeah, true. Okay, thank you, Ruby, for that. So Cynthia, I welcome you back. Oh, sorry, Simon. Is that Simon?
Yeah, I think I just wanted to respond quickly before Cynthia goes. Yeah, I think I also saw Kerigo's comment. Yeah, and I guess once you know the nature of what you're getting into, you become, as a guy now, you become more intentional because you're no longer in your 20s where you're joking around. So I think for me, when she and then ladies, I think it's also important, also both sides, both guys and the ladies, to ask the important questions. Because for me, she asked me, why do I want to constantly meet her and go for dates? So she asked the right questions, and I had to be now clear about what it means for us to go on a date. So the moment she got to ask such questions, I knew, okay, she's also not in the season of just trying out things. She's actually in a season of saying, okay, if I'm going to do anything, I have to be intentional about it, because again, as she said, she's also protecting herself and also her daughter. So it was also clear for me that once I asked her out the first time, I have to be intentional that it's something that I'm going to see it through. So yeah, I was not just going there half-heartedly. I had to make that decision for myself first before even involving her. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Asanteni sana, everybody. And that brings us to the end of that first session, which has kind of run longer because of the interesting questions we had. But but now I'm just going to invite Cynthia to tackle the innovative ways that we can stay connected during this period. Whether you're dating, whether you're single, whether you're married, how are we navigating the new dynamic of COVID-19? So karibu tena, Cynthia. I hope everything is okay with your power and everything. Okay, welcome.
Thank you. Just alert me, what time do you want me to stop?
I can give you 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. I can speak fast. Yes.
Okay, good.
So as I look through the poll, I saw that over 60% haven't seen each other in a while. You've been at home, you've locked yourselves up, and majority were single. Majority were single, meaning that you're not dating. So and then 20% see each other once a week. So that's a really, really telling factor. It really tells a lot. We've been under lockdown. Okay, a week ago we can now travel. Okay, limited travel, and then as soon as we've had the limited travel, the numbers have gone up. So now our anxiety level has gone higher. Though we have limited freedom, we are feeling a certain way this week. So then what do we do in the midst of just the frustration that we are feeling, especially because we've had to do quite a bit of adjustments. Our work has changed. We're in the midst of crisis in terms of a financial crisis. And now we're trying to put love in the midst of it. And this is what actually would happen, is that because we are in crisis, we are somehow in a survival mode. We are trying to survive this pandemic, and it's very hard sometimes to even try to put love into the mix, trying to put a relationship into the mix. But guess what? We definitely have to continue living normally, although we are in an abnormal circumstances. So now, what does that mean? So the first and foremost thing that I have put together something that hopefully will help you think through, especially if you're single, if you're dating, like Waboi and Simon, who are currently in a dating relationship for the last couple of months, and then those of us who are married. So what does that mean? Let me tell you, one of the things that you've got to remember is that you're still allowed, and give yourself permission to dream. Give yourself permission to dream. That is something that no one can take away from you. Some of the greatest and the most amazing people that the world has are the ones who are dreamers. I was reading something in the 1918 Spanish flu. Some of the greatest innovators that came out of that period actually dreamt it. They actually put through amazing things. And in the midst of it is that, can you two be able to dream? Can you dream what your next relationship should look like in terms of, what am I looking for? This is a time for evaluating. You know, look at how your relationships have been in the last 6 months, the last 1 year, the last 10 years. Is it possible for you to start and put your dream in sequence? Because now you have the time, you have no choice. You have the time to dream. You have the time to think through and put a plan, you know, writing your vision and making it plain, and actually saying, I'm not going to negotiate. This is not going to be something that I'm going to negotiate like I did in the past. I'm going to dream and purposefully, intentionally put this forward. The second thing is you're going to dare after you've had an opportunity to dream. Can you dare to move from the place of a mindset that is fearful to a place where you can actually act? And this are for you know, Esther, I'm going to put you on the spot. This is for the Esthers in the group who are saying that, you know what, I can't do dating online. I can't, you know, and of course, dating online can be very scary. However, there's some very credible dating sites. Are you going to apply on those? Or are you going to send word to the people that really care about you, and you say, you know what, do you have a brother? Do you have a sister, if you're a guy, that you would like to introduce me? And it's okay. And that becomes something that you dare to do. Can I make a new friend every week in this, you know, when we're doing those gaming and whatever? Can I make a friend? Can I be intentionally looking to be a friend to somebody else or to solve a problem? Dare. That's what I'm going to ask you. First, dream. Second, be daring to make the step. And sometimes it's daring to also confront yourself and give yourself permission that it's time for me to actually put out some of the things that have held me back from a dating relationship, or from having a clearly innovative, fun, exciting relationship with the current person that I'm with. Okay, so dare to be intentional. If you're currently married, dare to be intentional. Dare to speak your truth in love. Communicate with this person and dare to actually speak in love and give love in the way that is fitting to meet expectations and to meet the needs of your spouse. You know, the thing that is very interesting, guys, I've come to realize is that when we are in survival mode, we tend to be me, myself, and I. Do you know that? When we're trying to survive a pandemic, it's about me and my needs, and that's a natural way our body is going to function. Now, for you to dare to move out of be, myself, and I and meet my spouse's need, meet my boyfriend's need. And what is his need? It's important. So we need to communicate that with each other so that we can see, can I meet the need or can I not meet your need? But at least we are communicating. So dare to do that. Then the number 3 thing is declare. And I've basically put it out there in the sense that, you know, when you dare, you must declare. Declaring means, I hear this a lot as a relationship and marriage coach. I hear very much of, this person is just taking me on a merry-go-round. You know, I'm not sure if I'm in or I'm out. Since COVID-19, he's been saying that he cannot, you know, please declare. Define the relationship. Define it so that we know where we are going 6 months from now, a year from now, or if we're not going anywhere. Sometimes we need to declare so that you set somebody free. You've realized that they do not know how to cope within a crisis. Well and good. Declare and define it and actually speak it. And it's so important that we declare that. Declaring also means just fungua roho, open up your heart, open up your mind that, you know what, I am afraid. I'm afraid because I'm working in the medical sector and this is what is happening. Declare your fears, declare your concerns in the relationship. If he's going out quite a bit, you're staying at home, you're staying home with the children, but every weekend he's out and he's with the boys. Declare that this is, or communicate that. When I say declare your fears. Declare your concerns. He's out with the boys every weekend. He does not mask. He doesn't sanitize during this time. Can you actually declare that this is not okay? All right. And when you declare, you define the boundaries. Define the boundaries, especially when we're going to be innovative, we're going to be fun, can we define what boundaries work for us? Can we define what this relationship should look like? Can we define what parameters actually speak into what a safe relationship looks like? Can we define who we are going to allow into our marriage? Define who we will let into our relationship circles. Can we define that? Can we define what boundaries are healthy for our children, especially now when they are learning everything online? And so the new crisis within couples right now is the kids are spending too much time online or not too much time. Can we define what boundaries are safe for us as a family, even including our spouses? You'll find that we are also spending a lot of time online. We are creating a new spouse with our online relationship. Cindy, are you feeling accused? So in that sense, what we need to do is, can we define that, you know what, couple time looks like this for me? And I've done this with quite a bit of couples when we say, can we create even a basket within the house that every time we come in, we actually put our phones or our laptops and they hang out there for 2 hours and we have couple time. We have couple time where we just talk, couple time when we just play. I liked what Ruby said, when you see things are coming down, let's go big. Even if we have to bake 1,000 cookies or 500 queen cakes, Let us bake. You know why? It's bonding time. And maybe some of the things that you're going to do as a couple will be, and I have found there's so many things that they are online on YouTube that you can do together as a couple that will build your communication, that will build your ability to stay as one. The other thing that is pretty clear in defining and daring is actually being a couple that says, what are our gaps as a couple? Or even the gaps as an individual, as a single person, and how am I planning to meet my gaps? And is it time for you to actually learn a new language? YouTube will teach you a language. I remember my daughters and I decided to try for a week sign language. All right, it was amazing. We decided we wanted to learn how to sing using sign language. And so can you too, as a couple, say, one of the things that we're going to learn is we're going to learn Spanish, or we're going to learn how to speak Gujarati. Google it online and do it. And it would be fun that you can actually do it as a couple. You see, that's defining what fun looks like for us as a couple. You're defining what play looks like. And let me tell you something, you will do that as a single person, and you can do that as a married or a dating couple. There's so much out there that is pretty creative and fun for the two of you to do. It's you who's got to make up your mind by opening yourselves up, switching yourself up to that point and saying that, you know what, at such a time as this, we have been given by God the ability to have 24 hours, and 24 hours which we get to define. So in 24 hours, what are you doing with it? And make it a daring, dreamy declaration of love. And that's me. I think that was 10 minutes. Awesome.
Thank you, Cynthia. It was right on time, like exactly 10 minutes. Amazing. So we have a number of questions that have come in. And I want to hand this over to my colleague Ivy to take us through the questions. Most of them will be for you, Cynthia, but all panelists free to chip in where you'd like to answer the questions. So Ivy will come in, her video has a bit of a problem, so you'll just hear her nice voice as she takes us through the questions. Welcome, Ivy.
Thank you. Hello, everyone again.
Hi.
Thanks. So Cynthia, this question is directed to you in terms of innovative ways to connect during this time. And someone is talking about online touch in terms of toys. Now we have toys that can be able to help if you're distant. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, okay, that has taken me aback. I hadn't even thought about online touch. Let me tell you, when you think about online touch, it basically means that I'm going to be either masturbating, all right, because I'm touching myself. I'm not touching the person. The person is online. So you're basically self-manipulating. And for me, and in terms of a relationship, and we can go to the technicalities of it, and there will be people who will say that, you know what, it's self-gratification, it's amazing, it's great, but you realize that it's something that you are unearthing as part of your relationship, what do you call, pleasure, but it's self-pleasure. This person is not there, is not available. I would rather you would spend the time building the two in terms of emotional intimacy, all right, in terms of your communication, intimacy in that sense, because when it comes to building a relationship, I would rather we stay away from the ability to self-manipulate, because we find that later on in marriage, and I have seen this quite a bit with couples who have trouble with physical intimacy because they have spent a lot of time in self-manipulation, masturbation, and all that. So for me, especially because I come from a very from a Christian standpoint, I do not I do not advocate for that. One, because it is not going to be the person that is with you physically. From a Christian standpoint, I feel that you need to build the relationship without the sexual intimacy first, Because at the end of the day, what happens is that you will not be able to become one until you are actually in a marriage relationship. So why would you want to open up that can of worms? So in that sense, I would really persuade somebody from the self-manipulation. That's my take. I do not know what the others would say.
Anyone else who has a take on it before I go to the next question?
I think I can just add on. I think physical is not the only part of a relationship. There are different other areas that you and your partner can strengthen and bond through this season. So it's not only physical in a relationship. You can do something mentally, something emotionally, something spiritual, something that can also build both of you and also create a bond. So physical, people normally think it's the only thing that builds a relationship, but it's not.
Thank you for that, Wambui. Do any men have anything to say before Lopez, Simon?
I guess it was Cynthia and Wambui put it so well that physical is just part of the relationship. It's not the core part. So I think, yeah, from what they've said, just to keep it short, I will say, yeah, if we're able to now take this time to, like what Cynthia said, to really connect emotionally, improve your communication skills, get to know your temperaments and all those things, even before the physical comes in later. And now what she said, especially it comes after marriage. So how do you build on those other things before you get to now the physical aspect? Yeah. So it has been well articulated.
Thank you for that. Cynthia, this is directed to you. In terms of, we're talking innovation, and part of innovation means a lot of online dating for those ones who are looking for partners at this time. And someone is curious to know whether you know any credible dating sites they can be able to use.
Okay. There's one that a friend of mine has started, and I was even trying to think about it, because it's one that I know that a friend of mine, and I know she's trying to connect Kenyans with other Kenyans, and I think it's called Kenyan Connect or something like that. I will definitely look for it right now as we're thinking. It just came off my head, but that's one that is by a Kenyan, started by a Kenyan, and she's trying to connect Kenyans together. There's one that I remember when I was a single woman, I did go ahead and apply, and it was called eharmony.com. Why I liked eHarmony is because it had a 7 or 8 step process before you actually met somebody. So it was very important that when it came to online dating, that you actually looked, are there steps that safeguards the spouse? All right, or the woman and the man, so that then by the time you actually meet somebody, you're not exposed and put out there. So I liked that step. So whichever online dating site you're going to try and go into, please be very careful, because of course, in every place there's going to be a thug, there's going to be somebody who wants to take advantage of the situation. So why don't you do this? Actually look through, is it credible? And this eharmony.com was actually a Christian, it's still a Christian site, has very, very clear boundaries that it had set for Christian dating. And I'm sure there's Muslim dating, there's all other sites on there. So look through and ask your friends, and you'll find that you may get something that is credible, that is honorable, that is respectful, that would help you meet somebody during this COVID-19.
Thank you for that, Cynthia. And then I think to add on to the same question, someone has asked, because I think this should be in line in terms of online dating, what does it mean to make a friend every week? Is the motive intention for it to grow more? And is it a healthy approach?
Okay, making a friend every week. It depends on what your goal is. if my goal in this season is to make a new friend every week so that then I can broaden my spectrum in terms of my networking with people, I want to be able to grow my ability to make friends, but also understand how, you know, people work, their mindsets in terms of what they do, why they do what they do. There's so many networking sites available, and you'll find that and I'm in several where they're networking for women entrepreneurs, networking for this. And you find that you will always meet somebody that is lined up with what you believe or what you desire, what you want. All right. So in the same way, if you're a single woman or a single man who currently, you know, is saying that I need to get married, I need to meet somebody, I want to fall in love, and you're in a dating spectrum, and you can actually meet somebody. You can actually say, you know what, this is my goal, this is my agenda, and I want to meet somebody this week. I want to talk to different people. And the beauty is when you can disclose that I am actually planning to meet people this week, and you are, you know, disclose to the people you're talking to, so that then they do not feel like, you know, like their friend number 624. If you are open, you're in a season where I'm meeting new people, I'm enjoying new friendships, I am broadening my spectrum, why not? There's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful, it's amazing. You're a young person, do it. And you will find that you'll become a better person. You'll understand what you need as a spouse and what you desire as a spouse. The only thing I would caution you is, do not do this with a mind where you now are entering into serial dating. You know, hit and run. You've become a hit and run. Everywhere you go, Kisumu, you've got somebody. Kakamega, you have somebody. And you know, because you can't meet them, you have them on Zoom every hour. You know, now that becomes a crisis. You're creating a crisis in the country. Please be honorable, respect yourself, and respect the people that you're planning to meet, and be open and very clear on what you're planning to do.
Thank you for that, Cynthia, because we don't have that many questions. Do any other panelists want to add on to what Cynthia has said, or we can move on to the next question? Okay, so we'll move on to the next, which is for those who are evaluating and have loose ends in their relationships, how do you find closure when the other person is not giving it to you? Cynthia? Wait, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, then.
The question is, for those who are evaluating and have loose ends in relationships, how do you find closure when the other person is not giving it?
Okay, so this is a person who has evaluated their spouse and or their relationship, and they've realized that they're cutting short.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think this is a very interesting question, because I love the fact that you are in a season where you have evaluated yourself and you've evaluated your spouse. I think the first question I would ask you, when you evaluated your spouse, did you evaluate yourself as well? What were you giving? And did you actually feel you gave? At some point, are you giving or are you taking? Are you a taker or a giver? Because it's very easy for us to just keep taking and find that everybody is falling short. But then all you did was took. So ask yourself, have you been giving? And have you found that you're consistently giving? And now you've reached the end. And this is a point where I would tell you, I'm glad you've recognized and begin now to create the boundaries. Is it possible that the two of you need to sit down? And it may not be that you're going to end the relationship. It means that maybe it's time for us to have a fungua roho session, an open heart surgery kind of conversation. Because I feel, you know, honey, I have been giving, I have been pouring for the last 5 months, and I feel that I am dry. Is it possible that now we can have that conversation that actually helps you speak your heart, speak your mind? Then recognize and celebrate what needs to be celebrated, because it can't have been all bad. The reason you are in it Could it be have been all that bad? So celebrate what needs to be celebrated, acknowledge what needs to be distinctly celebrated. But at the same time, go ahead and disclose what is the issue that is becoming your deal breaker. Now, at that point is where you need to make the decision. Is this a deal breaker that I cannot go back, forgive and forget, or it's a time for us to leave each other? All right. Then if you decide to move on and actually go on, you need to be intentional. Go ahead and set the steps, the action steps for what a growing, healthy relationship looks like. And you give each other a restart. We are restarting, we are redoing this thing again. Be intentional, be purposeful in creating that. Number 3, create time to do that. Actually set time aside. We cannot say that, oh, you know, this is not working, but we haven't set time to actually prove it's not working. Are you giving the time that is necessary? Is he willing or is she willing to give the time? All right. And then celebrate the milestones in the process that will show that there's some work that is being done, that we are ready to move on to the next step. If that doesn't work, then it's move on swiftly.
Thank you for that, Cynthia. I think the questions have been adequately answered. Some of us will be left reevaluating our relationships. So I'd like to hand over the session to Esther.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ivy, for taking us through that Q&A. Cynthia, you've answered them very well. And I have learned so much actually today. But the one that stands out for me is the 3 Ds that you mentioned. Dream, I guess dare to imagine what you want for your life. And then I'll dare that one, inanidunga bado, but it's fine. I will dare to act on what you want to do and declare what you want from your life. Yeah. So it's I guess it's a challenge to us to open our minds to do things differently. And I'm actually so surprised that there's a Kenyan dating site. Like that already says a lot about how our society is changing and how we are embracing new ways of interacting. So thank you so much for all our panelists, for all the insights and for sharing your experiences with everyone. So I would like us to do one last poll on Slido. And what we are asking all of you is, what's your one takeaway from today's session? What's the one thing you're going home with? What's the one thing you've learned? Like me, their declared dream. What's yours? So I'm just going to put the link on the chat. Please go to the link and just share with us what your one takeaway is for today. And so we are soon coming to a close. And as you share those, I will also invite all our panelists to give us their final remarks, anything they would like to share with us as you share with them. So I will start with Simon. Let me start with the guys now. I'll start with Simon, not the guys. I'll start with Simon. Yes. Karibu, Simon.
All right. This is the parting shot, right?
Your parting shot, yes.
All right. Yeah. So I'm grateful for everyone who made it to this conversation. I've also learned a lot from you, Cynthia. So great insights. Really, I learned a lot even from the rest of the panelists, and also the wonderful questions the audience have been able to ask. So I just want to keep encouraging everyone to believe in the opportunity to just be able to share and find somebody in terms of sharing love and also being able to connect with other people. So as I think most of us have said, give it a chance, learn from one another, take this time as well to really develop yourself as well. It's a great time to be the one even before you meet the one. So I think just ensure that you use this time as well to learn about yourself, know what you like, what you don't like. For me, I think that has been the space where I've intentionally taken time to really take time for self-development, because I think it's a unique situation we're all in. This hope we'll all be able to gather soon and just be, yes, we are in the new normal, yes, but we need to ensure that as we adjust the new normal, we're able to have faith and not act in fear, because I think it's a time where we can go through depression or anxiety, but if you really take time, all things will be okay. So just encouragement that things will work out for the good. So yeah, keep on, and yeah, wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Simon. Next, I'll go to Wambui, parting shot.
Wow, it has been interesting. It's been fun sharing our story. It's been interesting hearing other people from the panelists. And thank you, Cynthia, for the 3Ds that we need to think about. Also, thank you, Shiro, for putting this together. It's been fun. What my takeout has been dream that there's relationship after COVID, there's relationship after this pandemic and through this tough season that we're going through as a nation and as a world. So if we dream that we will get out of this, and also being safe and being wise, also not just going around doing everything and anything, just be safe and dream.
Thank you. Ruby?
Just to start by saying thank you so much, Shiro, for organizing this amazing event. I have learned so much. I am so excited. I've enjoyed listening to, the guest speakers and their various insights, and just reminding myself also of the times for dating vis-a-vis marriage. It's just really given me so many interesting insights, and I can't wait to share with Will. I have so much stories to go and tell him after this. And he's not even ready. He's not ready. But and also to just say thank you so much to Cynthia, because I've learned a lot, and that's a thing. And I've left my one takeaway from here is I have interesting ideas of how we can just work on, even in marriage, we can still continue to enjoy each other's time and different things that we can do together. That has been really insightful for me, because sometimes in marriage you can get comfortable and kind of forget, or not do interesting stuff and get kind of bizoyana, if I can use that word loosely. So thank you so much also, Cynthia, for the great insights that you've shared with us. So my parting shot is yes, even in this season, even in the way things, are different and tough, continue to love. Love is a beautiful thing. So continue to love. And love is love of self, love of a partner or boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse, love of children if you have children, love of friends. So there's a lot of love. And, many people are, going through a lot. So if you can just love on them, even if you're not able to see them physically, just love on them, check up on them, give them a call, send them a WhatsApp, just find out how they're doing. That would be a special thing, just to continue to keep the love alive, even in the in the new normal that we're trying to figure out. Something else that I want to mention about real quickly is, as much as we've talked about today, we've talked about an ideal situation where relationships are going well, but for people who maybe in this season it's brought out the worst, or you're really going through a hard time, please don't be afraid to seek help. Seek help. And I'm sure Cynthia is one of the people that you can approach. Seek help. Don't allow yourself to suffer or to die or to get hurt physically or even emotionally because you're in something that's really not going well and you're not seeking help. Because we've been seeing in the news that there are a lot of crazy stuff that guys have been doing. And some things, they're as a result of many different things. So if you feel like you're pushed to the end, kindly just go ahead and seek help. There are so many people that you can reach out to. And I know, you can be assisted to just work out to coming back to a level of love and sustainability and, just being safe in terms of life and even anything else. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you so much. And I'm so excited. I've really enjoyed this conversation and I look forward. I can't wait to hear, what else, Esther, you have in store for us. But thank you very much. And thank you so much to the panelists. You guys are amazing. You are so much fun to hang out with. I really enjoyed each and everything that you contributed to this conversation. Asante sana.
Thank you, Ruby, for taking 45 seconds. Thank you. Thank you so much. Next, Cynthia, parting shot out of the many gems you've given us.
I am so excited. I want to thank you, Esther, for giving us this platform. to impact and influence relationships and marriages. We do not take it for granted, because we have now such a beautiful platform where we can actually impact and pour ourselves out in the comfort of our living room. You know, that is so yummy. At the same time, this is my parting shot for you, and I'm going to piggyback on what Simon just said. There is a 4-letter word that is going to make the big difference in terms of what your next relationship is going to look like. In terms of the relationship that you're currently in, it's a 4-letter word. You're either going to succumb to fear, all right? Fear, 4 letters, or you're going to step by faith, all right? So it's a mind shift, a mindset. You're going to either fear and not get into the relationship, or not ask the questions, or not approach the person, not finish what you need to do, or you're going to have faith that God has a purpose, a plan, and something new for this next season. Even in the midst of a lockdown, there's a man waiting for you, Esther, and anybody else who gets married. So open up your mind, have faith that this is your season, this is your time, and step in to your next season. So welcome.
Thank you, Cynthia. Wow. Umenimulika leo. And there's another time you mulikaed me like this, but we will not address it. Thank you so much, Cynthia. And Lopez, last but not least, I keep calling you last, but you're definitely not least. Lopez, parting shot.
Wow, thank you so much. I want to say thank you also for the panelists and the team, and Cynthia also. Your parting shot is my is my take home. And yes, it has inspired me. Thank you, everyone. It's been an amazing time to just hear from you and learn from you all. And my parting shot to everyone is simply this, and this is something that I'm so passionate with, and it is to guard your heart with all due diligence, because for me it raises the issues of life. And when I say guard, is protecting and nurturing your heart with all due diligence. And most of us protect so many of our things, our phones, our laptops, with so much diligence, with so much passwords, but we do less for our hearts. And when we say our heart, I'm saying your emotional health. And this is something that we all ignore when we are thinking about relationship. Your emotional health is key for your relationship. So that's something to guard and nurture. And when I say guard, is to protect it and allowing the right people to speak into it. And when I say nurture, is you need to talk to someone. You need to address it. When you discover things, you need to address it early, so that now, when you enter into a relationship, it doesn't now become an issue out of it. So you need to constantly, either you're single or in a relationship, or even those who are married, they will agree with me. Your emotional health is something that you ought to constantly keep on building on every time. Yes, that's my pattern.
Okay, thank you so much, Lopez. Thank you to everybody for your wise words. I can see people have also taken away their dream, adapt to the new normal, dream, dare, declare. And I see love here. Love is not rigid. That's very interesting. Be authentic, be daring. So what I'm seeing is like we are all being challenged to be better than how we've been living. Don't be complacent, do something different. So thank you everyone for sharing your takeaways. Thank you to the panel as well. And so this now brings us to the end of this amazing session. We have learned a lot, we have shared, we have heard so much. And at this point, I would just like to thank the panel. Thank you so much, Cynthia, Simon, Wambui, Ruby, and Lopez, for agreeing to do this, for sharing, for being authentic and vulnerable with us. People who you really don't know in the audience. It's really amazing. And I really believe that vulnerability is a way to connect with people. And that's, again, one of the ways that we can continue to stay connected with each other. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for sharing and for gracing this panel today. And then next, I'd like to thank the team at Open Institute. There have been people behind the scenes making this day happen. giving me this platform as well to be able to host you guys for this conversation. It would not have been possible without them. A special shout out to Alkags, to Benjamin, Kevin, Ivy, and Mukanda, and Proline. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting me in the back, doing all the backroom stuff. I really don't take it for granted. And a special shout out to Phoebe and Kirigo. Those are my friends who really helped me to conceptualize the topic, helped me to constitute some of you guys in the panel. So I really just want to give them a special thank you. And with that, that brings us to the end of today. Our way forward after this is that there'll be a blog post on the outcomes from these sessions, the key learnings and the major things that we discussed. I will publish that on my website, which I will share with each and every panelist and each and every participant, and also in our social media pages. And then this video has been live streaming on YouTube, so it's actually going to be available after this. Feel free to share it with anyone who wants to catch up on the event, anyone who missed out. And again, that will also be shared with you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been amazing. I had so much fun. This was the first time I've done something like this, so I'm really encouraged that it went so well. Who knows, maybe there'll be more in the pipeline. We'll see as the future goes. So have a lovely weekend, and remember to love each other. Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for coming.
Karibu.